Good morning from the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. So glad you joined us today. I'm Reverend Jay Lang, and we have a delightful service this morning. I'm so happy that you have joined us and are opening up your home as we open up our center to you today. And we have an inspirational singer this morning, Faith Rivera. I think if you've not heard her before, you're going to have so much fun with her today because she just exudes the heart and the love, and she's streaming in all the way from Hawaii. So we're opening up this morning with music from Faith Rivera.
Aloha Napa Valley CSL. I'm so happy to be here with you. And I want you to just open your hearts, as Reverend Jay said, and lift your voices. You're going to sing after me, okay? All right, here we go. I got love, I got peace, I got joy, flowing like a river. I got love, I got peace, I got joy, flowing like a river. One heart, one mind, one love, flowing like a river. I got hope, I got strength, I got faith to move every mountain. I got hope, I got strength, I got faith to move every mountain. One heart, one mind, one love to move every mountain. I got you, I got me, I got us coming together. I got you, I got me, I got us coming together. One heart, one mind, one love coming together. You know we're coming together. You sing, coming together. We're coming together. Coming together. Oh, we're coming together. Coming together. We're coming together. Coming together. One heart, one mind, one love coming together. I got you, I got me, I got us coming together. Let me hear you. I got you, I got me, I got us coming together. One heart, one mind, one love coming together. One heart, one mind, one love coming together. Big finish. One heart, one mind, one love coming together. Oh, good job, everybody.
Thank you, Faith.
I'm clapping.
I'm going to send an email out to people right now, so we're just going to take a minute. We're having a problem with our YouTube.
I'll vamp. Vampy music to get people onto YouTube.
We're definitely going to blame this on Krista not being here. So we'll continue, and hopefully that you find us on Facebook. We'll have this recording, and we'll upload it to YouTube later on. I apologize for that. We're just teasing. We don't know. There was a block on YouTube this morning, and we don't know what that is. We'll find that out later on. So what I want to let you know as we continue on in this service is that there are 3 classes that are coming up in the January. It's interesting. The talk today is about staying grounded, so I need to take a moment here. That's what I was talking to Faith Rivera just a minute ago, and that we realign ourselves with the truth of our being. And there are many ways to do that, but one of the ways is our classes that we have. We have 3 classes coming up. Two of them are starting next week. The Power of Meditation with Peggy Usack. That is going to be just a 3 Monday evening class, some basics about meditation, but also it's great if you already have been meditating to establish a practice of it. The second class that I'm teaching called Practical Mysticism, which will be on Thursday night. We're going to be using a modern day mystic, Carolyn Meese, and her analysis of St. Teresa of Avila, her work about the interior castle, and explore that through an 8-week class that I'm really looking forward to doing. And then I'd like to introduce you to Brunessa. Do you want to come up, Brunessa? And then, can you give me this mic here? I forgot she was going to come up and... This is Brunessa, and I always forget how to say your last name. Is it?
It's probably a good time to tell everyone. It's Brunessa Kunitz. It's so nice to be with all of you. As a new girl on the crew, I hope I did not mess up the broadcast. I think it might have been me. I'm just admitting. So it's so great to be with you all and to be a part of the community now. Thank you so much for welcoming me to Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. I needed to be back in a part of the community. The power of your word. I cannot wait to be with you all to teach this class. Speaking about the power of your word and teaching people about the power of their word is one of my favorite things to do in this teaching. And so in this class, we'll be using the book, How to Use the Science of Mind, and also Gabrielle Bernstein's book called The Universe Has Your Back. And so this class, we will learn about our divine nature, the power of our word and how we dance with spirit, and how we move our fear to faith through our thinking and through our spiritual mind treatments. We'll learn all the steps of prayer, one step at a time, and we will also learn how to treat for others, for our children and for humanity at large. So I so invite you to join this class with me. It's going to be fun. I love the authenticity and grounding in the power of our word, and I'd love to facilitate that with you. So the class starts on February 2nd, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Brunessa is a ministerial student, and we also have another ministerial student here. Both are beginning to learn how to support us with production. And what a great day when things are falling apart. We've never had this problem before, but it's an unprecedented time we live in. So I hope you enjoyed that for us. And the other big thing going on is on a week from tomorrow on Monday is MLK Day. And as part of our annual celebration in this valley of the MLK Day of compassion and action, we're going to not do everything we used to be able to do, hand-to-hand, body-to-body, community action, but we are going to have a commemoration. We're having several interviews with local people, music and that's going to be at noontime on the actual Monday, the 18th. And so please join us for that. There'll be a link on the website for that to join us, or it'll be recorded and uploaded as well. The other thing that I wanted to share with you that, as many of you know, we have been grieving the loss of a longtime community member we had, Charles Powick. And we have set, Mary, his wife, has set the date for the memorial for the celebration of life to be on the 23rd, Saturday the 23rd at 11:30. And that link for that Zoom will also be on the website that you can find and join us for that to be able to watch that. And the other side of that, whenever we have losses and we also have celebrations in this community. And we have a pretty big celebration also to share with you. And Diego Garcia, our former music director, was here to record some songs for Charles's celebration of life, and I didn't recognize him at first, but because he has chosen not to get to go against COVID restrictions, so he's not got a haircut, and he's not at the same time not shaved. And he's got a video to share with you. I just wanted to give you that warning because I didn't want to scare you too much. But I wanted to share this video with you about his celebration.
Hello, friends at the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living, and thank you, Reverend Jay, for allowing me a few moments to come and share some life updates with you. Contrary to popular belief, I have not been playing an extra of the Brawny Man in the new Netflix series or writing my next novel. As many of you know, I've been studying for the bar exam, which was supposed to be last July, and then it got moved to September, and then October. And just last Friday night, I found out that I passed. So, I wanted to thank each and every one of you for being so supportive during all of my 3 years of law school, and for all of your prayers and good wishes. We finally made it, so I'll be sworn in as an attorney in California in the next couple of weeks, and I just wanted to give my deepest thanks on behalf of Sarah and myself for each and every one of you, and blessings to you all.
Him passing the bar, and we just, it's interesting, when he was here recording the music for Charles's service, he was sharing with me that although he's in a very left brain profession now, or right brain profession, I mean, no, it is left brain. I always get those mixed up. Left brain, logic. And he said that anytime he's in a meeting, and of course, anytime you see a lawyer, it's generally not good news. It's something you're dealing with, some kind of conflict or challenge you're dealing with that they're helping you through. And so there's often some tension, there's often upset. And he said anytime he comes to the room or begins to speak, that things become more peaceful. Things become easier. And he attributes it to the spiritual principles that he learned here, and that he still has that consciousness with him. So I'd love to hear stories like that, that even though he's not in this community officially anymore, that the ripples we send out in the world do make a difference. So I'm so happy about that. So we're continuing in on our service as such. We're re-getting people in here to find. Faith is not here right now, and I don't think Luann is here either. Maybe I don't have the right link. Let me make sure that's the case. So just give me one more minute here to make sure that they can get in. It's that one, I thought. And then I'll just continue into my talk otherwise. I've emailed them both too, so. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go. Like I said, we've had some problems with the links. Faith is back. Okay. Is Faith ready to do some music?
Yeah. Yes. Where are we in the program?
Hi, Faith.
Aloha.
Thank you for coming back with us. We're still working on the YouTube, but we've got Facebook going, and that's all we need right now. So I would love some music for us today. So the meditation music. So open us up in meditation. That would be great.
Yes. Okay. Hang on a second. All right. Nothing like some bumps to really get you motivated to get centered. So here's Power of Now. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is I Will Surrender. As we surrender to what is. Okay. Let's just take a deep breath in. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. and I am stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's real and pure and free.
As we just step into prayer and meditation in this moment, we know the truth of who we are, the truth of love that is always present with us, that is always deeply connected, deeply alive. As we just take a moment just to breathe deeply. And allow the calm and peace to come within us. Aligning our soul with our body, mind, and heart. Knowing all is well. And so it is. So I would like to turn it over to Luann. She's back now, and we've already done the prayer and meditation, but she could offer some spiritual reflection on her topic this morning.
Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Sorry we're having such glitches, but that's part of the journey of life, isn't it? Getting off track sometimes. So I was thinking about that and about being centered and grounded, and I'll have to be honest, the last month or so I have been so off center and so not grounded. It's been a journey, and but I recognize that sometimes that's what happens, like when you're driving down the road and there's construction and it has you move to the side a little bit, and then now you have to drive partly on that rumble strip, and it's disturbing and unsettling, but eventually the construction ends and you move back over into the center, your lane, in the center of that lane, and then things go smoothly again. So for me, getting through this last month and what I'm still going through, I just practice, different, there's moments of still being centered and moments of still being grounded. It's just not that general feeling of groundedness and centeredness that I usually feel. because I've just been so knocked off my track by realization of something that something I figured out about myself that needs a really big shift, a big insight I had, and it's needing to shift, and it's not particularly easy. And it just literally just threw me off kilter, and it's been uneasy and difficult, but there's still moments of feeling centered and grounded by staying in my practice, by staying in prayer, by staying in meditation, by going out for my walks and being in nature, even when it's 10 degrees out this morning. And but that's brisk. That kind of brisks you, and it's brisk. What's the word I want? It's brisk, and it's inspiring and uplifting, being in that cold, cool, wonderful, snowy air. And we've had a lot of hoarfrost this last few days. So that's how when everything gets really frosted. I mean, everything, like the tree branches and the fence posts and every little blade of grass has that beautiful crystallized ice on it. And it's just so beautiful. And so that's a moment of feeling centered when I have gratitude for that beauty. And so that's a way to stay, even though when we're off track. And this morning with Reverend Jay and all the other people trying to get us back online here, you have this practice, and it's something that you can fall back on, even if you don't have to consciously really think about it. It's just there because it's something that you practice all the time. Being centered, being in the religious principles, and being with God, and staying connected to God, and that flow of God in your life. So even though I'm struggling with what's going on for myself, my inner world, I still have that practice. I still have my meditation, my prayer, my walks, my yoga, my exercise, my power cards that I pull every week and contemplate on. And it helps me through. And my friends and my community and my family and my dogs and my cats. So there's always something that can help you get back to that place of centeredness and groundedness. And I know that I will get back to that place, just like on the road when the construction throws you off kilter a little and you're in the rumble strip, which is just so annoying. And then suddenly you're back into that center, and there's smooth sailing down the freeway. So smooth sailing, and stay connected, and just carry on and stay present. I think that's the biggest issue, is staying present with yourself, no matter what comes up, whether you're feeling off kilter, just being present with that. It's okay to feel off kilter. It's okay to, be judgmental. And for that moment, you're like, oops, there I go, being judgmental, or there I go, trying to be more controlling, or there I am, I'm feeling angry or upset. That's okay. You just be with that. Whatever shows up, just be with it, and be with those moments of gratitude. And things will come back to that place of beautiful centeredness and groundedness and connection to God. Namaste.
Namaste, Luann. Thank you so much. What a beautiful reminder about being centered and being grounded. So thank you. So we are having a couple technical issues today. One is YouTube overall, but also Facebook has entered some new guidelines, I guess, some new filters, and they're not allowing a lot of live music, even when it's the original artist. So we're going to keep going with Faith now, and hopefully it works. We may have to have Faith create a new song on the spot or something. So, but I don't know what's going to happen. So let's just as long as stay in the moment and enjoy her while she's here.
Yeah, this song is called Power of Now. We are living out the talk title. Everything our beautiful speakers talking about. Luann, yeah. Just to sink into the moment exactly as it is. The power of now is always present, nowhere to be. Then where you are, the power power of now flows all so easily. The power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows on so beautifully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away, and everything wash away. The power of now. Power of now is ever flowing, connecting us all to the one. The power of now flows on so peacefully. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you so much. As you were singing that, first of all, we were in prayer in here in our place of center, and knowing the power of love comes out to you this morning through Facebook, and I know it does. I saw a quote by Wayne Dyer today that said, "A mind at peace, a mind centered and not focused on harming others is stronger than any physical force in the universe."
Yes.
And I think this is that this quality that my talk is today on, about being centered, staying centered. I think we find times that we are in meditation or prayer or just relaxing, that we find our center, but it's a question of, as we step out into the world, of continuing to have that center. I think Luann introduced this concept very well, talking about being centered, about being in the present moment, feeling whole and complete, a sense of contentment, confident in your life path and your connection to the world. You're trusting the universe and your body, mind, spirit, and soul, and you're connected in all that you do. I think you are yielding and powerful, but not overpowering, not justifying, not trying to be the hard power of forcing your way into something, but allowing this to be a yielding power, a soft power that I think of like a tree that bends with the wind but doesn't break. But if it was rigid, it would break. And this soft power, the centering that we have within ourselves can be reestablished at any time in our lives. And we know that when we're centered, that we respond to people rather than react. We are in a place of seeking to understand rather than being understood. We're less concerned about being right. We're clear and we're peaceful. We have an energetic awareness and a positive mindset. We're open to an intuition, and we're connected to ourselves and to others. And as I mentioned, it's easy to talk about, but it's another to put it into practice. Because sometimes we don't notice we're centered until we become uncentered. I don't know about you, but this week the events that happened in D.C. uncentered me. Just as the inner sanctum of the congressional halls were breached, the inner sanctum within me was breached. And it took me a while to come back to center. And as part of the talk today, I'm going to talk about how we come back to center. But I think just the obvious thing that when things are surprising or new or uncomfortable, that we can be off-center. And to seek the way to come back into alignment. Now, I always agree with Eckhart Tolle, who said the world is not here to make us happy, it's here to make us conscious. And so it is with the events that we have today, really over the past 10 months, that we've had unprecedented times, that we find ourselves in new areas, new grounds, and it's important for us to be centered, because if we're not centered, if we're not in alignment with our highest and best, we can do great harm in the world. Unconsciously, we don't mean to harm anybody. When I speak of uncentered, we can either be ahead of ourselves, mentally, we're not present in our bodies, we can be thinking about something, or trying to justify something, or thinking about something else without being present. It's almost like when we get in the car and we don't take the time to make sure we have gas and we've fastened our seatbelt and we're aware of traffic around us. We just take off. We can also be uncentered when we're in the back, caught in the past and regrets or a lack of forgiveness, or concerned about something, or reluctant or hesitant or scared to step into the fullness of our being, into this alignment. So we can either be behind or in front, and instead we want to be connected right here, right as we are. There are many things in our lives that can create this chaos, and there are some people who are either intentionally or unconsciously can give us a stimulus, an opportunity to become recentered. I know that, as I talked about last week, the way showers and that have been throughout history, the ones that have really made a difference, the ones that have really brought change, have done it from a place of center, from a place of connection. I was thinking this week about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and in the movie Selma, I wasn't at the event, but the way it was portrayed in Selma, I think, is accurate what happened historically. That there was a march going across the bridge in Selma, and the police officers who before had been an obstacle to marching across the bridge, and in fact there had been abuse in the hands of these law officers, that they stepped aside to allow the march to continue. And as Dr. King and his followers continued marching across the bridge. Halfway across, he stopped and he kneeled down, and he was aware it wasn't the right time yet to walk all the way across the bridge. That intuitively he knew it wasn't time yet. So he was centered enough to know that he wasn't ahead of himself, already across that bridge. He knew it was time to stop and pull back and wait for the right time to come. And whether it was a Moses or Jesus or the suffragette movement in the early 1900s, the labor movements that happened, Black Lives Matter, they all were centered in what is true. I remember the originators of the Black Lives movement, who were women, by the way, when the Seattle occupation happened, the autonomous zone, at first it was considered a platform for the issues that were affecting all people that were oppressed. But then it became about something else, and the leaders of the Black Lives Movement clearly said that it was a distraction. It wasn't centered on the issues, and they were trying to bring it back to center, but it had gone so far one way that they pulled out of the whole movement because it wasn't what was true for them and their alignment. And I think it's true for us that we need to be aware and intuitive, and first of all, most important thing that I would say about our centered is know the signs in our own body and our own life when we are not centered. I mean, some might be obvious, but some are more subtle about the ways that we aren't in alignment. For myself, I have an interesting tell that when I hear a loud noise and if I jump like I'm startled by it, that means I'm not in my body. Now that's true for me. I don't know if it's true for you, but anything that when I find that I am missing information from someone or not connected or make a misstep without really thinking about it, without conscious driving somewhere, without paying attention, or in a conversation, these are all reminders for me to come present, to check in. And what I try to do before, obviously in the morning, I do my meditation or I take a moment of contemplation, and I can find my center easily then, but even during the day, I check in my body and my mind, my heart, my soul, to see where if I'm in alignment with that. And if there's an intuition, a thought, I listen to it. Because sometimes little things can take us out of the present moment. A nagging thought, a previous conversation, or thinking about a conversation or an event or a task I need to do and I'm not here. So we find a time that if you think about anchoring, centering ourselves as an anchor of a ship, that we put down at times that we need to put the anchor down and stop to recenter. But it doesn't mean we have to stay anchored, that we pull up anchored to keep moving, but we keep the anchor with us. So at any time we need to ground ourselves, we drop anchor and recenter ourselves in that way. Think of it as a teenager being grounded, or a child who gets a timeout, or an airplane that is grounded. These are all times for us to reset. As a parent, we ask a child to have we tell a child to have a timeout. We ground our teenager because it gives them time to think about it, to reset, to realign what's important to them. An airplane is grounded because there's some kind of mechanical issues. Every time I'm about to fly somewhere and it's been postponed or grounded because of a mechanical issue, I say, thank God, I don't want to be flying up there with some sort of mechanical error. So it's a chance for us to be reconnected, realigned in this time, if it's just a moment to drop our anchor and remember who we are. So how do we find this ground that I'm talking about, this center? There's many different ways. The very first part The very first thing to do when you are aware that you're not grounded, or even to prepare yourself before you step into something new, into a conversation, into an event, into a task, is just to breathe. Just to breathe into your body and allow your stomach to expand with the air, to allow it to circulate with you and be present. Think of any, like a basketball player before a free throw, a baseball player before a swing at the bat or a pitch. They always notice they take a breath. It's intuitive in our body to do this. And we can consciously do this at any moment to re-ground ourselves. Sylvia Plath, the poet, says, I took a deep breath and listened to the old bray of my heart. I am. This is the sound of our heart when we check in. That we just allow this communing to happen with life itself with the simple breath. And the next thing is to affirm what is true. Often with affirmative prayer, you hear people start it with, this is what I know. Just affirm the universal divinity that's in every person, in myself, the wholeness, the oneness of all life, basic spiritual principles that you know to be true, but you need to reaffirm them. Think of yourself as if you're uncentered because a helium balloon is taking your feet off the ground, you can affirm that which you know by simply coming back to the ground, slowly letting the air out of that balloon and coming back into place of what you know. The basic principles of science of mind that we talk about, the basic principles of what you know, that you are a divine being. Anthony St. Martin says, you are the one thing only. You are a divine being, an all-powerful creator. You are deity in jeans and a t-shirt, and within you dwells the infinite wisdom of the ages and the sacred creative force of all that is, will be, and ever was. So just connecting to spirit, connecting to the truth that's within you, to remember who you are, no matter what you experienced. To reestablish that inner sanctum that was. So when the events happened in Washington, D.C. this week, I definitely had to re-walk back through what I believed, to establish my inner sanctum and what I knew, that the divine peace, divine order prevailed. And it surely helped my soul affirm what I was saying to myself as order was established back in the congressional building. That order that's within me that establishes the work I have to do in the world. That when I have my centeredness out there, when I know the truth of who I am, it's almost like the law officers that established the boundary that didn't allow any chaos, any violence, anything that doesn't serve me in. So my centeredness is a roundedness, is a clarity that allows me to have this space to be able to do the work that I need to do, that I am called to do, which is a work of love, a work of affirming and knowing the truth for myself and for other people. The establishment of inspiration and clarity and beauty. And I can only do that when I have this centeredness out there, when it is around me and this consciousness is established. My inner sanctum is free to do this work. So we establish this centeredness and knowing this divine truth we have. The third thing I would say is to surround ourselves with the physical elements of this planet, of this universe, with fire and water and air and earth, to imagine your feet grounded like roots into the earth, even if you're on carpet or tile or wooden floor, Allow your feet to feel the roots that are within you, to breathe the air, to feel the sun's heat, as well as to pay attention to the moon and the stars, and to an awareness of the movement. That when you eat, think about the minerals and the vitamins and the source that it grew in the ground or was raised on the earth, where it came from. Eat whole foods if possible, organic foods when possible, and feel the connection to the earth when you eat. To be outside, or at least in your meditation, to visualize nature and be connected, because just by itself, nature is grounding. And the fourth thing I would say is to listen to drumming music or chanting sounds. Music is wonderful and it can be contemplative, but I think particularly sounds that bring a vibration into your body. That you can feel that reverberation happening. A toning bowl or tuning fork can work because it also brings that sound into your body. But I think there's a reason why the Om sound is ancient and continues, because it resonates in our body. It vibrates in our body. So I'd like to invite you to just, with this video, the sense of the Om that goes within our body, that resonates with it. Just feel that Om in your body. Different kinds of chants can do it, but connect with it. You can do it by yourself. There's videos on YouTube that show that at different octaves and different things that you might resonate with. But just find that vibration within you. That connection within you. And then the fifth way that I would suggest you to recenter is, as you center yourself, or perhaps before you center yourself, to notice what is taking you out of center. Is there a nagging conversation, something that's taking you out of the moment, something that is bothering you? And to stay current with those kind of things, to let it go, or to communicate something if you need to communicate. But remember, if you're going to be talking to somebody about something that concerns you, something that bothered you, something you wished was different, find your center first. Because so much harm has been done in this world when someone is off-center, ahead of themselves with their emotions, and not in their body, not aligned with the highest and best. I think it is appropriate and healthy to have conversations with people that bring about a deeper connection, a way that the world works better for all people. I think the people that were involved in the breaching of the congressional building need to be held accountable, including the people that said words that encouraged people to do that. I think they need to be held accountable. I think there's a conversation that needs to be had. I think I know many people have been arrested after the fact if they were not arrested at the time. I'm not saying they need to be punished, but they need to be held accountable. And I think for me, it's easy to be judgmental about who those people are, but that takes me off center too. I need to be aware and connected with the truth of who I am and this divine being, and just know that divine order is prevailing. It's not mine to do. Anytime I try to do something that's not mine to do, that uncenters me. So it's in this place of when I want to communicate something or take action in the world, I make sure it's mine to do. And I do it in a place of compassion and love and centeredness, because I seek to do no harm in that way. And what I love about this idea about being centered is when I have this center, as I mentioned, they are like the guards, the boundary, the protection I have to do my work, to be creative, to be powerful. From this place of center, Mary Oliver, one of my favorite poets, says, keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. To vision. We've been talking about this new extraordinary vision that we've talked about, that is the new theme for this year, that is this ancient wisdom, this evolutionary vision. Evolutionary vision. So it allows us from this place of center to allow this evolution to happen, to allow something greater to come through us, to allow a higher state of consciousness, a higher state of love, a greater truth. And that's what makes the difference. Then we become the way showers also, because we're coming from a place of center, from a place of knowing. These classes that we have coming up, those are a great place to have the practice of being centered, to be a part of things in your life that are yours to do. So I invite you in this moment to check in with yourself about what is yours to do, to come to center as you consider classes, as you consider participating in things, as you consider what you want to communicate today, where you want to be, to come to the center right now. So let us go to prayer in this moment. So we just breathe. Precious breath. We breathe in the air that is around us. We're aware of the fire within us. We're aware of the ground that is below us and the water that surrounds us. And we allow the center of our divinity to be who we are. We know it is good and is always good in this moment and all moments. As we step forward from this place of center, we know that Spirit moves through us, as us, invites us to the center, and is the center within us. And for this, we know it to be the truth. And so it is. Thank you for being with us today. It was an eventful day. We'll have YouTube back on. We're not sure what happened there, but we'll figure out what happened during the week, and we'll be back on there next week. And also, we'll load up today's service onto YouTube as well, so we'll be there. But now, we want to come back to the music of Faith Rivera.
I am a child of this universe. The ocean dances at my feet. The wind plays a melody through my hair. I am loved at every turn. kissed by Mother Earth. Yes, I am a child of this universe. The sun warms me in its embrace. The stars have a light for me in the sky. I am honored by all life. I am held by Father Time. Every blade of grass, every shaking leaf on a tree, every mountain top sings of the glory of God moving through me. Oh, yes, I am a child of this universe. Through my breath, all of life can breathe. I plant the seeds with my every dream. I can love at every turn. Give a kiss to Mother Earth, yes. Yes, I am a child of this universe. I greet the God in each face. I am the channel for peace to flow home. Oh, I honor all of life. Yes, I'm one with Father Time. To every blade of grass, to every shaking leaf on a tree, to every mountain top sings of the glory of God moving through all. Moving is me. Moving as you are moving as Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. I'm so happy that we're getting to hear all of your songs and your beautiful messages. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
What an honor it is to have you with us today.
Jay, I switched
And I
songs.
want to also, I didn't officially, because of the way we started out in sort of a crazy thing that was uncentering, and we found our center. I just wanted to honor all of you for being with us today. We have people from Colorado, from Montana, Washington, Oregon as well, obviously California, as well as Hawaii today. So we're stretching out our streaming a little bit. So we always have a blessing that we give you, and we just want to give that to you right now, that we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community. And so it is. We are also grateful for the gifts and tithes you offer us, those of service and those financial gifts you've given us. And we want you to have the chance to affirm that which you've given and bless that money. So this represents any money that you've given to us online or anything you've mailed in to us. or given us to in person. We so appreciate it. So we simply affirm, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. We continue to bless our children and our families as they continue to do this hybrid education. Who would have thought it had been going on for so long? I know in some parts of the nation they're going back, but not us yet. And we'll be back soon. And we just bless all our families and do raise our hands and we say, we love you, we care about you, and we're here for you. Many blessings. We will have the community Zoom right after this service, if any of you are still here. And we'd just like to finish by, we'll have one more song by Faith, but first I want to offer the community affirmation that simply says, just breathing into this. Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
Something wonderful is happening through me right now.
I am led by Spirit.
I am led by Spirit.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am guided by wisdom.
I am protected by love.
I am protected by love.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am here to be a blessing.
I am so grateful.
I am so grateful.
And so it is.
And so it is.
There's nothing more powerful than being with an empowering tribe right now. That's you. Because there's work for us to do, and it can be done through love, through peace, through all of that good stuff that Reverend Jay talked about. Something great is happening. Love has taken hold and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, up one motion, with drops in one ocean roll on. Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Right now. Oh. If the day's a chance we can do something amazing and feel your passion blazing and shine. Yes, paint with every vision and dance in new directions. Explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Right now. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world. Sing with me. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world, one dream, one voice, one heart, one world. Let's sing. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world. Live the dream of the highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. difference, let's stand together. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all created. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Ooh, hey, hey. Oh, sing with me here. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together now. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together now. Everybody, let's stand together. We've got this, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Faye. So lovely. So lovely. So as we go forward, we remember who we are in the centeredness of the divine. And so it is. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on Zoom if you come join us for that. Many blessings.